We are back.
Yes, we are. It looks like a storm, but we're here and glad to be here.
We are very glad to be here, and we have a very, very special guest to kick off our new theme, which is
change.
And this, I want you all to meet my brother Tom. This is my brother Tom.
And my son, Tom.
Yes.
Sometimes referred to as numero uno.
Yes.
Often referred to.
Oftentimes.
Yes. And so when we talked about doing change, there was one person that kept coming up in my mind.
Yes.
Because today's theme is actually obstacles to change and resistance to change. And so I don't know anyone who better embodies this theme than my brother here, Tom.
That's
And
right.
he's not going to get upset with me for saying that because he admits it, right, Tom?
I definitely do. There have been times in my life that I have been resistant to change and had met, some obstacles, but I'm going to soon give some examples of obstacles that I've overcome that have benefited me. And at the end of it, I was glad I made the changes.
All right.
Yeah.
So we want to hear from it. And the Queen is going to have some stories too. And we just have to say that the weather changed overnight. So change is definitely in the air. It's on the porch. And we are ready to dive in because this is a perfect theme because of the pandemic. Many of us have been forced to change. And so let's talk about it because change is difficult. And we want to learn how we can accept it, how we can make adjustments, and how we can assimilate and be better, change for the better.
Right.
And so, Tommy, I think you're just a great example because you had very strict training. So Tom graduated from West Point. So military training teaches you routine. And sometimes routine can be an obstacle to change. So would you like to share some stories? I know there are many to choose from.
I would. I'll definitely like to share with everybody. So as Julie said, I did graduate from West Point. And it was very much of a regimented environment. You were up every day at the same time. You went to class at the same time. You did your parade, your extracurricular activities, lights out every day at a certain time. So a very structured kind of environment. And then my time in the Army, a similar type of, environment and structure. And it was hard for me when I became a civilian to adapt to not being in such a structured environment. 19 years ago, I made the best move of my life by coming to Pfizer Pharmaceuticals. And
we love Pfizer, especially now.
I hope everybody has gotten their shots.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the guiding principles at Pfizer is to be change agile, meaning that in today's pharmaceutical world, healthcare world, that things are changing for doctors, patients, for reps. And I'll give an example that 7 years ago, I was in a primary care environment, meaning I would go to offices with samples. I became very comfortable. I was very successful in that environment, but I was offered an opportunity to go to a different division, the vaccines division, and it turned out to be a game changer for me because many of my colleagues who were stayed in primary care wound up losing their jobs. And I came to vaccines at one of the most exciting times in the company's history, not just with the development of COVID vaccine, but a new pneumonia vaccine, a new meningitis vaccine. And it's really given me a lot of satisfaction.
That's great. Well, you said it. I think something that I picked up what you just said is you talked about you were comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Comfort can definitely be an obstacle to change. We're comfortable. We want it to stay as it is. It's secure, like our robes. We're nice and comfy. But sometimes we have to step out. And I think that's such a great example, Tom, of stepping out of your comfort zone and look at what happened. Something for the good.
Right.
And I have a couple more before Mama takes over because I know she's dying to. About 3 years ago, Julie found a wonderful building down in Florida. Just a God moment.
Total God thing.
A God thing that led us to a place called Oceana South in Jensen Beach. And Julie told me about an opportunity there and convinced me to get on a flight to go down and look at it. And the old me, the conservative me, never would have got on the plane. but I said, I have to get out of my comfort zone. This could be a new opportunity. So we went down, the realtor threw open the blinds on this place and showed us the Atlantic Ocean, fell in love with it, and by the end of the second day, we had already put an offer and started to close on it.
Yeah.
And the old me never would have taken that chance. And we've already shared great times with Julie and Mom. My daughter, our youngest daughter, came with two of my children. And as I said, it's something I never would have tried years before, but being more open and being more, willing to look at other things, I think it was once again going to be a good, example of how change can be positive, not just for me, but for the family.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just remember when you went for it, I was shocked. I'm like, what? You actually bought it?
Yeah.
And I remember you said it was when they threw open the shutters and you looked out at the ocean, and that just did it. And so one of the things I think is experience helps us get beyond. And that was a positive experience that propelled you to do something outside your comfort zone that at the moment you wouldn't, like you said, you wouldn't normally do. And often experience can go the opposite way. That we hear this expression that sometimes you have to hit rock bottom before you're propelled to change. We don't ever want to do that. But experience is another way to help us overcome obstacles. So that's a great example. And we've been enjoying it. 908, 508.
Right.
We have a blast, and we've got a lot of fun memories to come.
No hurries, no worries.
No hurries,
Jensen
no worries.
Beach 34957. The last example, which is a very recent one, and then I'm going to turn it over to the Queen.
I hope so.
Was,
I am the Queen.
After 38 years of being in the same house, raising 3 kids, being involved in my community where I knew everybody, our church, we decided to take a gamble and put our house on the market, move to a different area, a little further south, and you can only imagine the things that we accumulated during that time. And
lots of stuff in the basement.
A lot of things in the basement.
A lot of stuff.
To include a mouse that made an appearance during the home inspection.
Of course.
But we decided to take a gamble. We've been in the house for about 3 months. We're going through the process of making new friends, but already we're becoming more comfortable and adapting to that environment. And I would just say, once again, look at opportunities that arise, weigh the pros and cons, don't get stuck in the same dull environment, and don't become a victim of that, what I say, womb or umbilical cord. Be willing to step outside, and opportunity will be there for you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So now, Mama.
Yes, it's Mama's turn.
Wow.
So that was a big move.
Yeah.
A lot of
big.
Facebook Marketplace sales.
Yes, the marketplace came through.
He's a chip off the old block, Queen, and I'll take a little credit for that change he made when he went to West Point.
Oh, yeah.
Because he wasn't too happy there at first, and I was trying to paper and went from home. And now he thanks me because that's where he met his beautiful wife and a wonderful partner through all the changes. And so I'll take a little credit for that.
You get all the credit, Mama. So tell us about some changes. You've had a lot of. You're a mover and shaker.
I am a mover.
You've had a lot of moves.
I've moved 18 times at least. I figured it out today, and I thought, is that right? So I did it again, but it is right. And each one has been an opportunity. Some better than others, I have to admit. But every time I've moved, I've thought positive. That's the way to think. I was a positive thinker. I thought, now, how am I going to fix this house up? There were a few that were handyman specials, you're right. And the
and
big
Tom is
one,
not very handy. He's not the one you
Oh.
call.
Listen, one of them we moved in and I raised my children in was a real handyman special with a mud basement. And
Oh yeah, we've talked about the mud basement, and on rainy days like today, it's crazy that it was muddy in the basement.
All kinds of hardships for me. But guess what? I was so happy. I had my 7 children there around me, and one day was better than the other. And each time I move, even recently, when people say that older people, which I'm going to be someday, have a hard
Never.
time
She's
moving.
never going to
They
be old.
resist change. Well, I looked upon it as a smaller place, yes, but a place for me to get some new curtains and a new bedspread, and everything I thought about had something positive. So when you have to make these changes, go into it with an open mind, an open heart, embrace the new, remember the old, because they're always good memories, but you've got to give in and think of it in a positive way.
Love that, Mom. You're
Yeah.
always so positive. And
Well,
you said before, it's like an adventure.
it
Every
is.
move was like a new adventure.
It was, yes. And of course, there were some things that I had to turn the other way, or one of the kids popped up and made it better for me. But I have so many blessings, and I thank God every day. I'm still alive. I don't know where I'm going to move next,
Yeah.
but wherever it is, it's going to be a good place.
Yes. I think you're the perfect example of someone who blooms where they're planted.
That's
No matter where you are, Mom, and where God puts you, that you have a positive attitude, you make new friends, you sprinkle joy, and what a great opportunity and what a great outlook.
It's a good way to live. It
Good way
makes
to
you
live.
a lot more full of joy. Like I
Absolutely.
Nothing negative.
Nothing negative.
Nothing negative.
And that is our family slogan. And I think one of the things that one of the big obstacles to change for many people is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of what could happen next.
Yes.
And so I'm a planner. I like to have things very planned. So it's a control thing. You like to control and plan.
Yes.
And when change is thrust upon you, or there's an opportunity for change, the easier thing to do is to resist or to go back to what's comfortable. And I have a little story. I've got a lot of stories of change in my life, through my divorce, through moves, through changes of churches. And really, one of the big ones is sitting right here. This guy was not planned.
No.
I was planning to get a Christmas tree that day, and I ended up with a little 6-pound bundle of joy.
Yeah.
And so, and I remember walking into the store telling Carolyn, we're not getting a dog today. Well, thankfully, we did, because this little guy has brought more joy and love. He's shaking right now. He's getting very cold. So, but I think my message, and the way I've overcome change mostly is through leaning on my faith.
Yes.
Because faith is the opposite of fear. And so it's just trusting in the Lord, that the Lord goes ahead of us and knows the outcome and has our best interests. And so when change comes, I'm like, Mom, I look at it as an adventure. Okay, Lord, what adventure are we going on today? Are we going to get blown over in the storm?
Perhaps.
Is there going to be a tornado coming in by the end of this? We don't know.
We're not alone.
We're not alone.
That's the big thing. I know now. I used to be afraid to be alone, but not anymore. Since God really took a hold of my hand and let me go. So,
Yes, absolutely. No, we are not afraid.
I am afraid of this wind.
She's getting cold. She's not afraid, but she's cold. So I think the wave's probably coming out at any moment.
Ooh,
There it is. There it is. I knew it was coming. We got a double wave from the couch.
Yeah.
So we've had a great time, and maybe next time, Tom, you'll get a crown.
I'm working on it. This is just a trial run.
This is a trial run. We're going to have to watch the tape.
We'll see. Nothing comes easy for my boy.
I got to work for it.
Yeah, there's got to be some work. We've got to see if you really continue to live this theme of change, because you're really been knocking it out on the real estate front.
Yeah.
The condo, the house.
I know.
There's been a lot of change, and you've adapted well. So just onward and upward.
I'm in the process of making progress.
There you
And
go.
we're so glad he was our guest on the porch.
I know. What a way to kick off!
Cold.
What a way to kick off the series.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're going to do next week.
Oh, you will.
You absolutely will.
I'm not saying we're going to fly him in free.
No.
But he can come back.
He will be back maybe for the book signing.
Could be.
That's a big change coming the way. Look for December.
Okay,
everyone. Have a great week. Embrace change. Adjust. Adapt. And we will see you next week. Bye-bye. Thanks, Brother Tom.
Bye-bye. Love you.
Take care. Bye-bye.